You guys got recovery questions and I got recovery answers, so should we do a little video? I think so. You guys asked me some of your best recovery questions and I'm gonna go through them. I'm in a good mood today. I hope you're in a good mood today. If you are here and you are ready for this, please just like show your enthusiasm via tapping, gently tapping. I don't want a big tap. I literally just want a little love tap. Gently tap that like button and let's get going. General, just Q&A. I literally was like, give me your questions. This is what you guys gave me. Okay, let's get into it. Woo, question number 1. I had knee surgery and I need to train my legs. At the same time, I'm recovering from amenorrhea. Any advice? And I wanted to answer this one because I've actually had a lot of clients that get in this same pickle where they're like, I have an injury. I have a spinal injury. I have sciatica. I have something with my knee. I just had knee surgery. And when you're trying to heal from exercise addiction and you're trying to get your period back, it can kind of be like, well, the PT told me to do 1,000 squats. So what am I supposed to do? And this is like my response to this. First off, work with your PT. Let them know that you really are not trying to train right now and you need some simple but effective, quick and easy things that you can do to help the rehabilitation process. For you to keep your knee, I think she said knee here, right? Yeah, she had knee surgery. So for you to help with this whole process of your recovery and to keep your knee healthy and strong, it's not gonna require you to go on a 15-mile run. Probably the opposite, actually. It's probably gonna be some low intensity, some little, maybe movements with your feet, squats, whatever, right? But it's not gonna be a full-on workout. So this is up to you to start practicing. What's the word I'm looking for? This is gonna be up to you to start practicing your discipline in being able to stop when you know you need to stop and not continue to go on for I'm gonna now do 1,000 squats. It's like, do your 4 or 5 squats that you need to do with good form to help your knee out and then leave it at that. Can you just leave it at that? You don't have to start working out like crazy. Just leave it at that. And I think you can definitely mix the two together, recovery and healing from the surgery. With not knowing hunger signals, do you just stay consistent with 3 meals or do you need to eat more? Okay, so these type of questions are hard. This is why it's really good to work with someone because I don't know what your 3 meals consist of, so I don't know if that's gonna be enough. And also, yeah, there's just a lot that goes into that. But let me try and make this general advice right now. General advice if someone was just I don't have hunger signals. I would be eating every 2 to 3 hours. I would try and do 3 more bigger substantial meals, something that I would order at a restaurant, right? And then my snacks, I would just piece those out. I'm having a morning snack, an afternoon snack, a snack after dinner, and I would just stay consistent with it until you build up your metabolism, you get your body back in a healthy place, and then at that point, you can start the process of being a little bit more intuitive, understanding your hunger and your fullness, understanding how much you need. But until then, making sure you're just getting consistency down. And then once you get consistency down, that's when we start amping up quantity. And then you go until you finally start mentally having a better relationship to food, your period's coming back, all of these things start to happen. And that's when you start just having a healthier relationship to food and you understand food at that point and can kind of step into that intuitiveness. What if you're eating more food, but I still feel like my metabolism doesn't work very well or fast? We think that this process is gonna be I ate a burrito, where's my metabolism? It doesn't work like that. It's gonna take a while. I mean, it really took you a while to destroy your metabolism, so it's gonna take you a while to build it back up, and that's okay. I think this journey really teaches us patience, and that's a good thing to learn in all honesty. So first off, patience, and it's enough consistency. Also, if metabolism's really not improving in any way over a period of time, then we simply just have to admit that we aren't giving our body enough rest and we're not giving our body enough food. That's the thing that improves our metabolism, right? So if we're not getting the improvement, we still have digestive issues. We still have sleep issues. We still don't have a period. It just means that the body's asking for more. And while you have improved, you just still have more to go. And I think that's key. Hit the subscribe button if you're that was key. Yes. a lot of people make huge strides, and I'm always really proud of them. But sometimes you need to be taking 10 huge strides and you've taken like the first 1 or 2, and that's amazing. But continue to take the rest of those strides in order for you to get to full-on recovery. Okay, is support in recovery really that helpful? Now I found this one interesting because this person, she has been in my DMs for like the last like 6 to 8 months, constantly asking me questions. So, is support helpful? Well, if you're asking me questions and me answering those questions are really helpful, then yes, support is helpful. I see a lot of girls try and do this journey alone, which is not bad, okay? Not bad. But I'm just saying, support is great. Like, support is great. You can figure it out on your own. I did. It took me 11 years though. And the girls I work with tend to get their period back in like 3 months of working with me. So if you want to condense this time, condense this journey, if you want to really be called out on a lot of your BS in a good way, like we want that to happen. When we are in a growth mindset, we're like, please call me out. Like, I'm not angry. Please tell me if I'm being selfish. I need to know, right? So you want someone to call you out on your BS of like, that's a very ED thing. That's still connected to your, connected to you not valuing yourself enough, whatever it is, right? If you want someone to do that and you want someone to hold space for you and you want someone to help you dig in deep, what's under all of this? Because we know it's not food. We know it's not body image. What's under that? Can we uncover it? And then can we have someone who holds a good space for it? Like, can really guide you through you figuring out all of these things, processing through them, and then like moving forward in life? Well then, yeah, support is absolutely 1000% wonderful. I get support for so many things in my life. I'm just such a big advocate for just asking for help when I'm like, I just don't know. And if I can like be next to you, someone who knows, like I worked with a business coach. Okay, I was making probably like 15, maybe 20K a year until I worked with a business coach, and then I was hitting almost multiple 6 figures. So was the support helpful? Totally. So this person asked this, and this is great. I really want you to listen up here. And if you think the same thing, like you've had these same thoughts, please like write something, like yes, that was me. This is me. This is how I feel. Like write that in the comments. Okay, she said, what about amenorrhea cases that aren't so extreme? Full of energy, I have fullness and hunger cues, my hair is not falling out or anything like that. And I was like, all right, listen up, girls. If you do not have a period, it is extreme. There is nothing not extreme about your body, which is designed to have a monthly menstrual cycle, which is designed to go through ovulation and have a certain amount of estrogen and progesterone floating in your system, and follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. There's nothing not extreme about that being gone. And now I feel like a lot of people get to this point in their journey where they kind of hit a status quo, where their body's kind of just running so high on stress hormones that you don't notice a lot of these things happening. So like there was a point in my journey where I wasn't losing my hair. My hair was growing long, my hair was growing thick, but I was so malnourished. But I think my body just kind of eventually kind of adapted and then was like, okay, we're gonna try and work double time to make this person like still function. But you don't know what damage that's doing internally on a big scale. Bone density, the myelin sheath that wraps around your neurons, that can literally be wearing down because you don't have enough, fat, you don't have enough saturated fat, fatty acids, all of that in your diet. Breast cancer, cervical cancer, you could be putting yourself at risk for a lot of like serious things that, yeah, you might not feel in that moment. Again, you're like, I'm feeling great, I just don't have a period. I'm like, there's no such thing. There really is no such thing. And I do want to mention too that like I felt great, but then I recovered and was like, oh, now I feel great, if you know what I mean. Like I was used to how I was feeling. I was kind of numbed out all the time and riding high in cortisol. I was just used to it, but then I recovered and was like, wow, I'm a woman with hormones and this feels so much better to like be going through this cyclical rhythm every month. And so, yes, it's always a serious thing, always so important to get back. And also, mind you, if you eventually want to have kids, like you have to have a period. So that becomes issue, right? Okay. How to get rid of calorie counting in your head. So I wish that there was a magic pill for this. Like I really, really actually do wish there was a magic pill for this one. It simply is time and repetition. You telling your brain, I do not care about these things. I think, I go in this in detail in the course, in the Get Your Phone course, my signature course to help you like get your period back, heal your metabolism, heal your relationship to food. There is a module that is on calorie counting and stepping into more of that intuitive relationship with food. And I go into depth there. So, I mean, that took me like an hour of, video to really talk about this subject. But if I could say anything or give you any tips in the next 30 seconds, it would be start eating food that you have absolutely zero idea what the caloric content of that food is. Go out to restaurants, have people make you food. Like buy food and don't look at the back of the package. Like, again, I wish that there was like a magic pill, but it's gonna go down to you being disciplined, and this is the behavior that is not bringing me health and happiness. So I'm going to stop this behavior. It's gonna feel anxiety provoking for a bit, but hopefully you have the tools to help with anxiety. If you don't, my course has a bunch for you, a bunch of meditations, a bunch of like embodiment practices, things like that to help with this anxiety. You're gonna learn how to deal with this anxiety, and over time, your brain's gonna learn, hey, we don't care about knowing the number before we eat. I also wanna say something about calories for a moment, if I may. We measure the caloric content of a meal by burning it, so by heat. That's how we get the kilojoules, the calories, right? The only thing with that is that our body doesn't process through calories via heat, we process through calories via enzymatic reactions. So if it says like this takes 500 calories to, to burn this, block of cheese, your body has different enzymes that are gonna work like maybe quicker at processing through that cheese, which is gonna make that totally not 500 calories in the way that we view 500 calories. It just makes no sense when you actually start learning the science of it and you're like, what is this stupid number? And hopefully when you learn that it's just so stupid, it makes zero sense. And even on the back of a package, they have like a 30% window of like what the calories could be, meaning it could be 130 or it could be 100 calories. You don't even really know. It doesn't matter because your body doesn't care about that. Does not make sense. But if you want to learn more about how to actually go through this process of mentally rewiring, the course is going to be a good one for that. Super worried about going over 225 grams of carbs and 65 grams of fat, but I know I need more for recovery. There's something in me that wants to just say, okay, well then it's your choice if you're going to continue to just be worried about that. It's also your choice to continue to go, this is not like improving my life in any way, shape, or form. It's not improving my health in any way, shape, or form. So I'm gonna get rid of this idea that I only need 225 grams of carbs. Wherever that came from, I don't know who you got that from, right? Whatever podcast or diet guru or whatever you got that from. It's gonna be your choice though to finally go, I'm not gonna listen to that. And I know sometimes you guys, I'm really like blunt and I'm really just like, I don't fluff things. And I think that's really just needed in this space. Like, stop fluffing it. You have a brain and it does actually work, and you can decide to just stop thinking about it. Now, the reason why I'm being so blunt with it is because I want to get you guys to take action, because in reality, I know that the only way for you to truly get over this is for you to just start taking action against it, for you to start going above and beyond those numbers every single day, to teach your brain and your body that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And so I would start just taking those steps, meaning I would literally throw in probably the whole bag of pasta into a pot of boiling water, and then I would pour it in a bowl with a lot of butter on top, and I would eat until I finally am like, I don't want to eat anymore. Now I would get the support of my sister if I needed. I would get the support of a coach if I needed. I would I would get support if I needed that support 1000%. But at the end of the day, the only way to get over this is by you actually taking the action of eating more carbs than what you have allowed. Okay, meal and snack ideas for low appetite to still get in good calories. This is actually really important because yeah, your appetite might be really low, so you kind of want like the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to like the food you are eating. In my course, Get Your Flow On, I have a whole recipe ebook. I think there's like 87 pages in this ebook with recovery specific metabolic enhancing recipes for you to get the biggest bang for your buck. So I have a lot of ideas there, which you can go and check out. A couple things that I love is take a date, put a little bit of butter in it, sprinkle a little bit of sea salt, put like an almond in there, and that's like a great nutritive dense thing that doesn't take up like too much space. I love utilizing drinks for this because drinks don't take up as much space in the system. So if we can have like a glass of milk, if you want to make it extra nutritive, make it raw milk, put in a spoonful of ghee, put in a big spoonful of honey, get it nice and warm, right? Slowly warm it, put in a little dash of cinnamon and boom. Now in this drink that's just this tall, right? That you can just kind of chug, you have ghee and honey and all the milk and you can even put some collagen in there. And that's the way to kind of get a lot out of something. So let me say one more thing. So just going with that, it's looking at the snacks that just don't make sense anymore. Celery sticks don't make sense anymore. Red bell pepper doesn't make sense anymore. Your snack should be like cheese and ham and dates and bread and those type of things. So this person said, how can I get to my pre-diet metabolism after yo-yo crash dieting, or is my set point higher forever? Okay, so yes, we know when we are dieting like crazy and we are yo-yoing with our weight or maintaining just a really low weight, we know that our metabolism slows. Now, I don't think you're doomed forever. I think that you 1000% can restore your metabolism and go back to proper functioning. But this is gonna be determined on how good you are at doing the things you need to do to restore your metabolism. Right? So if you try and go on this journey, but you're ooh, but I just reached a 19 BMI and I don't want to go above that. It's okay, well, you're blocking your metabolism for fully healing. So you're probably not going to get back to a good functioning, metabolic rate. So as far as your ability to get to that, okay, before I ever did anything, yeah, I mean, I think you can get your metabolism in a really beautiful place. I don't think my metabolism is broken anymore. That's not really the right, your metabolism doesn't break, but you know what I'm trying to say. My metabolism doesn't feel broken anymore, right? I have good digestion. I have monthly menstrual cycle. I think maybe what this person is asking is can I get to my pre-diet weight, right? And I just want to remind you guys that weight and metabolism are two different things, okay? And so to answer the weight question here, this is body specific. I think the way I want to answer this is by saying not it doesn't matter, but yeah, how can we soften how much this matters to us that we get to that pre-diet weight? Can we make our focus now less on what weight am I going to be at and more on how much health am I going to experience there? I'm just going to focus on how I feel. My hormones, my digestion, my sleep, my hair, my skin, all of that. That's what I'm gonna focus on, and that's what I care about. Not, am I gonna get to my pre-diet weight? Rather, am I gonna be at a place where I feel healthy and strong? You get it? I feel I like that answer better than maybe another one that I had in my head. How do I know if I'm hungry or full? I think just in recovery in general, you have to just work on this basis of, I am chronically starved. Doesn't really matter in that day if I feel hungry or full. I'm chronically starved. So what am I going to do? I'm going to create a system in place to make sure that I'm eating consistently, I'm eating enough, and I'm increasing my food intake every single week. because you're not gonna know until your metabolism comes back, right? And so we just need to do the things that we know is gonna jumpstart the metabolism again. But yeah, also if let's say you're eating and you're like, am I hungry? Am I full? Well, if you're not getting the full feeling, which eventually will hit, even if your signals are so off, like keep on eating till that. I think what's happening here is maybe you're like not allowing yourself to get to full satiation, and then you back off and you're like, what is full? And I'm like, well, I think you got to eat a little bit more to discover what full is, because I think eventually you're going to hit a point where your body goes, I'm full, I'm done, and get familiar with that feeling. And you might have to push yourself above and beyond that a little bit, you know, to get used to what that feeling is and to become more sensitive to what that feels like. And that's okay. It's part of this journey. You're just going to have to push along with that. Okay, we're going to answer just like one more. Okay, this is great. You guys probably have this question. Can you eat too much in recovery if we are seeking for balance and health rather than being overweight? So here's the thing. Can you eat too much in recovery? I'm like, I mean, you have a body, and your body is eventually going to stop and be like, I don't need to eat anymore for today. Like, I've reached my capacity. And if we're doing that every single day, and we're at the same time then healing our metabolism, we're eventually going to get to the point where our metabolism is working great, and then our, like, you know, appetite is like matching with it, and we're going to get those fullness signals at the point of like normal fullness signals, if that makes sense. So again, taking this idea of like we are chronically malnourished, your idea is to eat. Your idea is to eat a lot, too much. It's almost like being like, can I have too much money in my bank account? I'm like, well, you're poor, so are you really gonna be mad if you made $30,000 this month? Like, well, but is that too fast? Should I only make 5? I'm like, well, no, you can make 30. Why not make 30? No, but that seems too fast. I'm like, don't you want to be wealthy? Like, don't you want to be recovered? So the only thing that would be like too much is if you were like consistently pushing to the point where you're like, I cannot even breathe and I'm having heart palpitations because I'm eating so much. Like, at that point we'll go, okay, let's like slow this down and try and make sure we are just, you know, focusing more on nutrient density and less on like huge quantities, right? But this fear of like, oh no, did I get too many calories in? I'm like, no, probably not. Like, your bank account's sitting pretty low, right? We got to get that money up. And yeah, so in terms of then, if my goal is balance, I'm like, well, you can't just plop into balance. I kind of wish you could, but in my journey of this, like, I couldn't just like go from eating a super restrictive raw vegan diet to now I'm just perfectly fine and healthy and I'm balanced. Like, there was so much deprivation over here, I had to swing over to this side, right? So I had to swing over here, eat in complete abundance, and then get myself to this like balance place. So don't be like pushing for the balance quite yet. Balance happens naturally. And if you're having a hard time figuring out that balance post-recovery, again, that's when like the help and support of someone to help you figure out what that is for you could be really helpful. Because it can be a little tricky, I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, it is pretty like natural of a process to just eventually kind of get into balance. A lot of my clients, you know, will work after they get their period back and everything. And we'll do a lot of work on kind of getting them back into this place of like, okay, now you just have an understanding of your body, an understanding of nutrition, and also an understanding of freedom and the importance of that. And this is how we're gonna like blend it in for you. Yes, I think that was it. Yeah, we're almost at 30 minutes. We are so done. I hope that this was really helpful for you guys. Love answering all of your guys' questions. If you want more like, yeah, but Chloe, this, and wait, I'm experiencing this, and wait a minute, I have all these 10 other questions. My recovery community is probably going to be the best place then for you guys to get my time and attention outside of like doing one-on-one coaching with me, which is always great too. But I love the recovery community, and you get the course with it, which is 10 modules of me answering a lot of these questions in a really thought out, beautiful video. I appreciate you guys for being here. I really do. I had fun today. I Hope that you guys did as well. And that's it. Here is this video right here. I don't know what this is yet. I'm gonna put a random video up here, but if it's my video, it's probably a good one. So you should probably click this one next and see if I can help you out a little bit more.